Hi, Dr. Rick Weibel, here in my beautiful office at Corbly Hall at Marshall University. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 5, Protecting Information Resources. We're going to begin by looking at a little YouTube video that shows us the basic definitions of many of the concepts that are covered in this chapter in just a couple of minutes. So, as we see up here, IP spoofing. Sometimes on the internet, a girl named Alice is really a man named, I don't know, Yevs, I guess. Okay, so some resources you can go and look at if you want to. So here's what we're going to talk about. We start with IP protocols. TCP means Transport Protocol. A protocol is a method that is used to shake hands between computers while they identify who is who. IP is Internet Protocol, and it is the protocol that's used by the Internet to control communications. So, as you listen to me read what's happening on these slides, so there's a couple of basic attacks. And spoofing is pretending to be someone else. So, here's Alice and her job predicted, and he's the attacker in the now, on the internet, you send a message to Alice. So here we see visualized on this video that we are able to hijack the connection so that the person you're talking to is pretender. Denial of service attack is like saying hello, 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 hello. And they try to say hello back. And they try to say hello back. But you're saying hello to and you never reply to anyone. And so it overloads the server's ability to. So the video is pretty high level, explaining it. And there you have it, about what happens in a connection. So let's take a minute and look at some of the slides of the topics that are covered in this chapter so you can get a better understanding of how to protect yourself in the wiles of the internet. Well, spyware is some software that is loaded onto your computer somehow. It even can be embedded in a picture that someone sends to you. And so when you open that picture, it also releases the software onto your computer. Adware, as the name implies, is for trying to give you lots of ads that you don't want to see. Phishing, like the name implies, when we go fishing, we bait the hook and we drop it into the water, and we hope that some unsuspecting fish comes along and bites our bait. Then we attempt to reel them in. So often you will get lots of emails, as you've seen. Generally, if you look at where it's from, now that can be spoofed, and so it may look like it's someone that would be important, but it's really not. So always question any source. And if there's a link in the email that says, let's say your bank, for example, if you hover your mouse, just point your mouse at the link, it will tell you where it's actually going to. And so although it may specify a legitimate web address, when you click on the link, it actually takes you to a carbon copy at the attacker's site. On the next slide, we see something called keystroke loggers. And this just records keystrokes. So when you type in your username and then your password, the keystroke logger records that information so that someone else can then hack into your accounts. And it does have a few legitimate applications, such as an employer, but usually they should tell you if they have such types of software installed on your computer. Another concept is sniffing. Now, a sniffer, just like a puppy following a trail on the ground, sniffing the sense of what's happening, the odors. In this case, sniffing on a network is a device that shows you the traffic. So we talked about protocols in the introduction. So it shows you all that protocol traffic going back and forth between the two computers. On the next slide, the one thing I do want to highlight is that a company gives its employees access to all of their systems so that they can use it. And so as this highlighted portion of the slide indicates, company insiders do commit most computer crimes. When I look to the side like that, I'm looking for the pause button on my recorder. In this video, we see the 3 levels of security. Level 1 is front-end servers. Level 2 is back-end servers, and level 3 is the corporate network. Now, what we mean by front-end servers are the web servers. So when you connect to Google or Amazon.com, for example, you're connecting to a front-end server. Then if you place an order at Amazon.com, for example, then you will be passed on to a back-end server that will process the order. It hands the information to the front-end server, which then sends it on to you. And the corporate network is all of the interconnection within a single company, such as Google or Amazon. So these 3 levels of security are the basic safeguards that a company would set up to protect itself and you. When we look at the type of threats that we can see on the internet, there are intentional threats from the outside or even from the inside, and those include these categories, which are described in detail in the book. One of the cool things in information resource protection is the use of biometric devices. And so bio meaning biological, metric meaning a measure. So as we see in this image, it could be fingerprint detection or palm print. It could be an iris scan, or it could be voice recognition where you say a phrase. And these are sometimes used in combination with a password or key code information. Some of the main types of security measures that a company installs are callback modems. So whenever you attempt to, these are a little older, when you would call into the company, it would record your telephone number or look at the telephone number that it has on record for you and disconnect and then call you back. So the idea being that if someone else called in and tried to log in as you, when it called them back, you wouldn't answer, and so it would prevent that person from breaking in. Doesn't work so well anymore. Now we've moved on to something called VPN, which are virtual private networks that encrypt the communication and require a more secure version of logins. A firewall get their name from automobiles. Automobiles have a firewall, which is a metal barrier between the engine compartment and the passenger compartment, to protect the passengers in the event that a fire breaks out in the engine where the gasoline and hot stuff is, where it might actually happen. Okay, finally, intrusion detection systems are systems that attempt to recognize any kind of unusual activity or any attempts to break in, basically. So if somebody starts jiggling the doorknob at your home, you might notice that that was occurring. Or if we had a motion detector, it would detect the motion within inside of the room, and that would be a way of letting us know that, hey, something's going on. Well, intrusion detection systems are similar, only they're software based and they look at network traffic. One of the questions on the quiz is about a proxy server. Now, a proxy server sits inside of the firewall and sometimes even can be incorporated into the firewall. And the idea of a proxy is that, let's say you frequently visit a certain website, and or several people visit the same website, and it is a static website, meaning the page doesn't change. Well, the proxy can save a copy of that website, and so when someone inside of the network requests that web page, the proxy server can immediately send it back without taking up any traffic on the internet. So the goal of the proxy server then is to reduce the number of outside requests that happen within the organization. And so it also does some things to verify that we're really talking to the right person and not being spoofed. I won't read the items on this slide, but you can see here are some ways that we attempt to do intrusion detection. What makes a good password? Well, as it indicates on this slide, a combination of numbers, characters, and symbols. Now, the longer it is, and the more special symbols it uses, the harder it is for that password to be broken. So, for example, you can use a phrase, I was born in 1920. Feels like it some days. So I would take the first letters, I, W, B, I, 1920, and add some combination of those letters or words. So, for example, I might say capital I, W, B-I-N, born in, equals 1920, or dash 1920, or underscore 1920. So by using the combination of special characters, uppercase and lowercase, and numbers, we make a password that is very difficult to break, yet it's easy for me to remember because it's based on a mnemonic. Data encryption is the process of pulling out your Captain America secret decoder ring and encoding and then decoding a message. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the movie A Christmas Story, but it's very cute where the young boy there who wants the Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas saves box tops until he gets his, I think it might be Ovaltine, secret decoder ring, and at the end of every episode of some TV show he wants, it displays the secret code, And so he finally gets his box tops, and he gets his secret decoder ring, and he decodes the message, and it says, "Drink more Ovaltine." Final thing is, what is the CIA triangle? Well, it is the first letters of 3 important words in this chapter. Those are shown on this slide: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, is my summary of Chapter 5 in 16 minutes or less. Have a great day.